Hello everyone, and welcome back to WolfQuest 2.7.2, and we are here at the creek with our wonderful spirit and his new mate Tumbleweed, who he met over at Amethyst Mountain when Tumbleweed was feeling quite ill. She's feeling a lot better now that we have actually worked our way all over into winter, and she also is expecting her puppies. So Spirit is here to carry on his chapter of the Stormy Skies legacy. I like to imagine that Kuma and Willow, who he was the companion wolf to for so many years, are actually scouting the area out, seeing where all of the elk are, seeing what wolves are roaming the area and if they need to defend any of their territories. But you guys may remember that last litter, we actually had a special little warning, kind of an omen or a prophecy, if you will, that was given to us by the ancestors of the stars, aka you guys, that the traditional family den that we have always taken over here, Saddle Meadows Den, which we renamed into, I think we called it like Bear Forest Den, but we are not able to go there anymore because there's been a prophecy that actually we need to go all the way up into the Aspen Heights Den in order to make the most out of this year. Apparently the prey animals over here are going to be a little bit sickly. We really want to avoid them, and that makes a lot of sense when you think about the fact that Tumbleweed actually was quite sickly before, and she's starting to get a little bit better. We've got to keep an eye on her. I did roll today to see if she was going to die of the illness that still lingers under her fur, but thankfully she rolled a healthy roll. Every single day that we have Tumbleweed, we actually need to go ahead and roll and see if she's going to suddenly die on us. If she does, that's going to make things very interesting. And if Tumbleweed survives until we have puppies, then we'll have to come up with something interesting since you can't kill a mate once they're like with you. Okay, let me see. I think we're missing an elk. Okay, there we go. There's a wee bit of food. Nice. All right. Well, I'm just going to have a little bit of a snack of this. And let me double check the difficulty to make sure it is on the right setting because, yeah, unfortunately, they're on Bring It On because that is the difficulty level that Spirit and Tumbleweed rolled. Yeah, we're just going a little bit further. When it's snowy and we're going into a new area we haven't been into for so long, it kind of disorientated me. But we are working our way over to this elk herd. So yes, Tumbleweed is still sick, but it's kind of a lingering illness that she seems to be able to fight off for the most part. We will roll every single day we have her to see if she dies of that illness. I'm not sure how we'll handle it if she does die of the illness. We might say if she dies of the illness, then actually one of the puppies suddenly catch it and then they die of that illness instead. And we do have the ability to cure the illness. In fact, that would actually be quite fitting, wouldn't it? Every day that we have Tumbleweed, we will roll to see if she is going to have the illness or not. And after we have like if she does have the illness and she dies before we have puppies, where is the food? We're like sitting right on top of a big marker. So where's the food? Is it going this way? I think it's going this way. No, it's getting faint. Let's turn around. Come on, Tumbleweed. We need to do some hunting. All right, and it's going this way instead. But yes, she's a carrier now, even though she's surviving the illness. So it makes sense that if we have that roll where there's the food, wonderful, we need to chase these guys both towards the den and we need to chase them towards the summer hunting ground to eat on our way to the summer hunting ground, or else our puppies are not going to make it. And we do have to be aware that the ravens are here now, so there's a good chance that the ravens will come out during the day and eat a lot of the elk that we try to leave behind. So there's a nice weak cow elk right there. Let's go ahead and don't kick my Tumbleweed and sneak up on her and try to turn her. All right, ready, Tumbleweed? Let's go. All right, no, we almost had it. There we go. All right, bite. And we want to try to take her. Thank you, Tumbleweed. All right, the pushing is always very helpful with our mates. We don't want to push her so far she'll be in the Forest Druid territory once the season shift comes, but if we get her down before she hits that grassy patch, we should be okay. Come on. There we go, guys. I was a little bit worried for a second, but we did it. Good job, Tumbleweed. But yeah, we want to try to have puppies as quickly as possible because if Tumbleweed dies because we haven't had our puppies and we roll a death roll for her at the start of the day, then it's over for Spirit and we'll have to move over to one of his siblings and their puppies. And that would be really sad because that would be the end of Spirit's branch of the companion family tree. So we definitely want to keep an eye out on that. So we need to have puppies as quickly as possible. So today is the only day I really want to risk doing extra hunting. But the downside of that plan, let me see if I can chase this elk, is the less we hunt the winter elk, then the harder and harder it is to keep our puppies alive when the time comes to work to the summer hunting ground, you want to make sure you do as much hunting as you possibly can on the way to the summer hunting ground before you have your puppies, or else they're probably going to die on the way there of starvation. It's just a cruel fact of life. So the winter hunting and hoping that the elk will freeze during the winter and thaw out very slowly in the spring when we have puppies, so there'll still be enough food, is a long time tradition of the wolf packs. Like I think the Mooney, oh my goodness, the Moon wolf pack started it and passed on the information to the Stormy Skies wolf pack, and the Starry Skies has always done it as well, because otherwise, honestly, you guys have seen it. We've done almost 300 episodes of Wolf Quest. You know that otherwise the puppies would die. But at the same time, we really don't want to risk like Spirit's mate Tumbleweed dying before we have puppies. And I think instead of her risking death, let's see which one's the weakest cow elk. Instead of her risking, oh no, and look at that raven, get away from my cow elk. Gosh, they're gonna eat it, aren't they? All right, let's take this girl down, even though it means a few kicks to the head to get her started on the race. Oh. All right, let's turn her, Tumbleweed. She's going kind of in the wrong direction, but if we can chase her across to the island especially, that would be fantastic. So let's keep moving her. All right, come on, that's right. Good elk, work your way across that river. I'll give you a couple good snips, and let's see if we can get her into the center of the island, because that would be a fantastic spot to have a cow elk sitting. She's really slow in the winter, thank goodness. They get so much faster, where our tail is just smacking Tumbleweed in the face. They get so much faster when it is, there we go, almost, when it is spring and summertime. So come on, get up, get up, get up, get up. Stop shimmying and get up onto the island. Don't just swim the island. No, don't swim sideways. For crying out loud. There we go. All right, now I need to get you. I need you to die like right here, if you'll be so obliging, please. Come on. Oh, thank goodness. All right, so that's very helpful. But yeah, it makes sense since we can't actually remove a mate after we have started the save file. Like we can't remove Tumbleweed if she happened to roll a death roll after we have our puppies. So if that happens, then what we'll do, oh, that spot was quite deep, but he managed to run through it just fine. So if that happens, what we will do is we will actually say that Tumbleweed infected one of the puppies. And then, oh, get away from my elk. I need that. Naughty things, back off. Oh, is there another carcass over there? I see a bunch of birds. Huh, let's go check that out. So I don't know, we'll try hunting down maybe one or two. Is there a carcass over here? I saw a ton of birds, but no carcass. Interesting. And no foxes, unfortunately. I would love to get some more ancestor blessings we could rely on. An ancestor blessing could negate a death roll from Tumbleweed. And I guess we'll actually have to, that'll be one of our challenges, won't it? We will have to carry that the entire time we have Tumbleweed. That extra risk that every single time we jump in to start a new day, Tumbleweed could, like without knowing it, infect one of her own children. And if we have to eat off of an elk that a coyote has eaten off of because we're just pressed for elk and we're like desperate for food, then there is a 50% chance that it could infect our babies and they could get sick and potentially have a death roll too. Gosh, this could escalate pretty quickly, you guys. But there will be a challenge that you guys can vote that we may or may not take on. All right, let's get this elk running. That's right, cow elk. Let's get you over to the island, or at least into this affiliated area. Alright, if I could get her across the island to the other side, that would actually be even better. Tumbleweed, I know you're eager, but we need to get this elk. Okay, now we need to chase her, now that we've got her up here. Now the goal is to chase her towards the summer hunting grounds. And that, Tumbleweed, wait! Okay, there we go. A quick howl to stop her from ruining this hunt, because this is actually an ideal hunt. If we can get her towards the summer hunting grounds, that will be amazing. But yeah, this idea of the infection could actually get really, really dramatic, you guys. I really like this new idea. So yes, there is a way that we could cure Tumbleweed. So cure any of the sick puppies. We will roll. There's a very low chance that some of the puppies will be born sick. We will roll to see how many puppies we will have. So we're going to be implementing a lot of new ways that our puppies could potentially die, which sounds really terrible and sad, but it adds a lot of drama, especially after we have accomplished so much in nearly 300 episodes of Wolf Quest. I'm pretty darn proud about that. And I'm thinking we may do another December special where we do the Christmas wolf pack again. Alright, come on, elk. Come on. Ah, sorry. We're gonna have to swim after this elk for a minute. and chase her out of the water. Let's get a little bit angled. Chase her out of the water. But actually on Twitter very recently, I follow many biologists on Twitter. And if you guys follow me on Twitter, or you just keep an eye out on my Twitter, you don't have to have a Twitter to be able to look at mine. For instance, turn around, ma'am. But if you guys look at my Twitter, then you will have seen a biologist who actually live action watched a wolf pack in Yellowstone hunt down an elk in a river. And the elk did its best. It was a big bull elk, I think. Probably like not an old one, but like one of the younger bull elk. And he did his best. He tried really hard to swim away from the wolves and stayed in the middle of the river. But when he finally tried to get out of the middle of the river and make his way back towards a bank, then the wolves ran him down and they had dinner. So it was really, it's always extremely dramatic, and I always feel a lot of respect for the elk, watching them as they struggle for life and as they try to get away from these predators. And often they win. Often they're able just to outrun the wolves. They're able to get to a tricky place where the wolves can't really risk diving after their prey without getting pummeled by very sharp and painful hooves. And I always think it's super important to remember to be respectful of the prey animal as well, because it is literally fighting for its life. And on the flip side, being respectful of the predator animal, because it is also fighting for its life. So we're running out of elk over here. Oh no! A coyote! We can't attack coyotes because they're sources of the infection. Oh, that elk carcass is ruined. Dang it. We'll have to remember that. If we forget the elk carcass is ruined, I think that's okay now and then. But if I obviously remember, then, because I have a bit of a bad memory. So if I back off, birds. If I forget the elk carcass has been quote unquote ruined because of a coyote, that's one thing. But if I remember, I will do my best to avoid it. But I can't believe we just lost one of our elk carcasses. Dang it. At least we have 1, 2, 3, 4 more on the way over to the summer hunting ground. So that should be a good start there. Like I said, we can't do as much of the winter hunting as we normally do, because every day that passes before having puppies is a day when we might actually have our mate die. So here's another thought too. We will be close to the cattle ranch. So if push comes to shove, we could try saving the elk that we kill over here up at Aspen Heights, where the prophecy, if you want to call it that, I think omen works a little bit better for our WolfQuest wolves, where the omen has told the wolves to have their pack. And I imagine that Kuma and Willow are scouting out up here right now, making sure it's safe for everybody. But if we have to stay up here, we can chase down the elk and maybe save the elk for the summer hunting grounds. And we could try going to the cattle ranch, and Spirit could try risking. The cattle definitely wouldn't have any of the diseases that the elk do, because they would be given antibiotics. Many agricultural cattle are treated with a lot of antibiotics and vaccines to prevent any illnesses that can often be carried by wild animals. So I imagine the cattle would be safe 100% to eat. All right, so we'll have to think about that. And we'll have to do a little bit more winter hunting. I do not trust Bring It On with its high difficulty setting. And I do not trust the fact that we need to have extra elk carcasses laying around, because otherwise, what are we going to do when one of those elk carcasses gets nibbled on by a coyote? We're going to be really up a creek and sad about it. Let's run. Sorry, Tumbleweed. I didn't want you to get kicked. Come hunt this one with me. We're actually chasing this one towards the den. That's a really good thing. Oh, there she is. Wow, Tumbleweed is a trooper. I think she has really exceptionally high stamina. She's kind of built more like Kuma, built like a tank, so she's not dainty and delicate whatsoever. And I think she's got a lot of stamina, and she must have had a lot of health, and she must have a lot of skill when it comes to taking down big prey items and feasting on them, because otherwise she wouldn't have made it this far. Let's see if we can trace down one of the other elk that ran this direction, because that would be really wonderful. I think I saw another one zip over here, and if we wait just a second, she might try to rejoin the herd, and we can hunt her down. But yeah, we'll try to do just a teeny bit more winter hunting, provided that we don't lose Tumbleweed. I know there is a den nearby, and I do want to make it our home. And it is dawn, by the way. I am rolling to change the time of day every single day. And I have several awesome puppy names, but if you guys want to suggest some more, I am wide open to that. We're really kind of going more with sort of like, I guess, unintentionally, like a theme. Think winter, think light, think things like glacier and gem are names that have been suggested. Dusk and sky are names that have been suggested, and those really kind of fit with the theme. Maybe rock names as well, or kind of more ethereal names would work really well too, or celestial names. So names like that for Spirit's puppies would be wonderful. And again, thank you guys so much for your encouragement in WolfQuest and how excited you are to see it. There's always the odd person who is like, I'm so bored, this is like 200 episodes of the same thing. To which I can only shrug and say, yes, my friend, it is. Yes, it is, and yet somehow it has become one of the most glorious, unexpected adventures and the most interesting creative tasks I have ever had the pleasure to work with. Also, I am still digging through my fan mail email, but if you guys have any WolfQuest images to send my way of the more recent litters, then please do, and I will try to add in all of those new fan art pictures at the beginning of our videos very soon. I have a lot of digging through to do on our old email. I got a little bit sick and behind by like 400 emails, but I'll do my best to get there. All right, so Tumbleweed, you're built like a tank and you're really strong and you have a lot of stamina, and I'm going to hope that all of those things were flattering to you. And I will reveal the challenge of how we can heal Tumbleweed after we have puppies. So we do have the ability to potentially briefly abandon her and the puppies and go fetch a cure and bring it back to her and or any infected puppies. But it may not work out. So it's a challenge that would only give us the potential, the remote possibility of being fulfilled. So I'm excited to see what we're going to do with that, and if you guys even want to take it up or not, or just shoot straight for the summer hunting grounds as quickly as possible with our puppies. So things are going to be pretty interesting. We'll do just a teensy bit more winter hunting, because otherwise I promise you lots of puppies are going to die, and we'll have to roll and see how many puppies we are going to have born next time. So I'll see you guys then. Bye bye.